Keep watching The Politics every Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern Time on New York Parrot TV, the voice for humanity.
Oops, sorry about that. Welcome to Talking Politics. My name is Robert Press. I am a reporter, as you can see by my official New York City press card. I write for the Bronx Post and the Parkchester Times. Both, like this show, are part of Parrot Media Corporation. I also contribute to the Co-op City News, have a blog at www.100%.blogspot.com, and Facebook pages 100% and what is going on in your local community board. The views expressed on the show are those of the host, any guest, or anyone commenting at the bottom of the screen, and not necessarily that of Parrot Media Corporation. Let's go to a quick weather report. Today, Friday, the rain has stopped from early in the morning. It should get up to a high of a muggy 84 today. 85 tomorrow. On Saturday, when the White Plains Road bid under Executive Director William Foster will present Pippi Longstockings, a New York City Parks Department puppet show, tomorrow in the Paramus Mall of Bronx Park East at Leidig Avenue entrance. The puppet show will be from 1 to 2 p.m., weather permitting, as afternoon rain is expected continuing into tomorrow evening. It then cools down on Sunday to 71 and Monday at 73. My guest today is Gonzalo Duran, the vice chair of the new Bronx Conservative Party, who is also running for public advocate on the Republican and Conservative Party lines against Democratic incumbent Jumaane Williams, who was supposed to come to the Bronx yesterday for a rally on Allerton Avenue at the fatal shooting of a couple of days ago. Now, Mr. Producer, can we bring on my guest, Gonzalo Duran, because I have a lot to talk to him about. I remember Gonzalo, are you here? Because I remember the old Bronx Conservative Party under Bill Newmark, and I'd like to hear from Gonzalo to see how the party has changed under new chairman Patrick McManus and vice chair Gonzalo Duran. Mr. Producer, do we have Gonzalo here with me? Oh, well, it appears that I'm having a little technical problems, so I will talk about some things that are happening. For instance, we have a mayor's race that President Donald Trump seems to want to get involved in, with Zohan Madani leading every poll in the usually crowded general election field. A consolidation has emerged as the favorite strategy by anyone who wants to defeat the Democratic nominee. At least Donald Trump's advisors close to him have said, Mr. Producer, do we have my guest? No. A series of bombshell reports went up. Here we go. Here's my guest, Mr. Duran. How are you, Gonzalo? As I was saying, I remember the old Bronx Conservative Party under William Newmark. You're now the vice chair of the Bronx Conservative Party under Patrick McManus, who's the chair. So how has the party changed over the years? How have you updated the party?
Well, I can't speak on before my time because, to be honest, before 2023, I didn't even know the Conservative Party existed. But from getting information and seeing where things were at when I joined, I can see there's been a big difference. First, under I didn't know Bill, but I could tell that he was a staple within the community and the Conservative Party. He had a structure that was something that I think we need to build back to. He had funding, he had dedicated staff members, and but that I assume that comes from when the Conservative Party started back in the 60s, and he kept it running till then. Obviously things change. Time changes things, and when his passing left a big gap and shoes to fill, Patrick, took over, and he did his best to hold the party together, which he did, which I commend him on that. And then, having me on board plus me bringing my expertise and skill sets, I think we're in a position that's pretty good. I can't say that we're at where we are. We are not where I want to be at, but we're getting there. I'm getting pretty close. When I came, yes.
My question, Gonzalo, my question for you is, how are you running for public advocate on both the Republican and the Conservative lines?
Well, I'm actually running for the on the Republican, Conservative, and Independent.
Oh, you have 3 lines.
Yeah, the United Alliance Party. So my work in the Conservative Party has brought in a lot of attention, and I think once again my skill set, my background. I'm a decorated combat veteran, nonprofit CEO. I've been, I have a staple within my community, national television platforms, policy working. Although I haven't been in the forefront of politics for many years, I have been in the background. So I think bringing all that together, the Republican Party has seen my value, putting me on their line and getting the individuals, Conservative Party members that I work with on their line as well. And then I've been able to prove that I've been able to do it on my own by starting my own independent line, where I was able to get 7 additional candidates on the ballot as well.
Right. I know you for almost about 10 years when you started Devil Dog in the in Bronx. You've been a go-getter. You've always been going after things, and now it's the Bronx Conservative Party. Can you tell us a little bit about some of your other candidates? I know you're running for mayor with 2 candidates, though. You have a Republican candidate, Curtis Lewa, and a Conservative Party candidate,
Irene Estrada.
Irene Estrada. I almost forgot her name. There's talk about President Trump getting involved in this election. Okay, there are 4 main candidates for mayor. You have Mandami, who is leading the pack, Cuomo, who lost to him already in the Democratic primary, who feels that he can beat him again. You have current mayor Eric Adams, who is polling for 4th, and you have Curtis Lewa, who is gaining in the polls right now. It's something similar to what Mandami's Curtis Lewa's situation, because Mandami was down low and he started gaining traction. And there's still 2 months to the election, so there's plenty of time for Curtis to gain another 10, 20 points to win. As a matter of fact, Curtis Lewa said, all I need is 35%, as long as Mandami's running with Cuomo and Adams and all these other independents, they'll take the votes away from him. Unfortunately, Jim Walden has dropped out of the race. He was polling at about 1%. What do you make of this mayor's race and the involvement, or so-called involvement, by President Trump?
Well, I know I commend Jim on stepping down, and the statements that he made, the way he did it, I think is very respectable. When it comes to the other candidates, I support Curtis Lewa in this race, and I believe that if the Republicans and Conservative Party can unite together, then it'll give Curtis a standing chance. Once again, if we talk statistics in the background of what the past has been, we can see that the Republicans and Conservative can bring anywhere between 30 to 35% of the normal voting percentages. So if the other candidates diluted, I'm more, I think I want to say more realistic. I think the others would have to take maybe 20% from their polling. So that means Adams would have to increase his number so that Curtis will be a guaranteed victory in that type of scenario. But, I just want hard races to be put out. I want the candidates to debate each other. I want them to continue building up the funds so that they can get more visibility, community involvement. Right now, those are crucial things so that we can have the most viable candidate as our next mayor.
Because right now, the New York Times has said that Eric Adams has been offered a job at the Department of Housing and Urban Development. Oh, that was political, pardon me. The Times says that he's being granted an ambassadorship to Saudi Arabia. Lewa has said that the only thing that'll take him out of the race is, as sure as hell, will be that if somebody kills him, and he sure as hell doesn't want a Trump job. Adams' campaign has denied any, contact with the president. Former Governor Cuomo has said, "I am not doing anything with the president." And I must commend the Bronx Conservative Party for a win last year. You were the deciding factor in a city council race here, and the Bronx is about 7-1 Democratic in its enrollment. However, the East Bronx is about 4-1 only. And current Councilwoman Christy Marmorato defeated a former Bronx Democratic Councilwoman Marjorie Velazquez. Any comment on that?
Yes, and we're happy Christie won. We're looking, we've unanimously endorsed her for this upcoming election again. And what I like to throw in for the Conservative Party, which doesn't get a lot of mention, our percentage in that district was the deciding factor to getting her the numbers she needed to get elected. For the Conservative Party members within the 13th City Council district, we had 91% voter registration come in for the votes. That's a huge numbers. And if you look at the Conservative Party as a whole around the Bronx, just stay with the Bronx, our polling and our vote percentage are either 50 to above. So if we were able to participate in increasing our numbers, I think we would have more situations where a united front of Republicans and Conservatives would make a deciding factor in a lot of the elections.
Now, who are some of your other candidates running here in the Bronx? There's a borough president race and there's council races as far as the other districts. Who are some of your candidates?
Yeah, so just to be clear, the Bronx has, in the last 2 years since I've been the vice chairman, we have almost filled all our legislative positions. So last year, out of the 21, we had 18. This year, out of the 13, we have 12. The only one we missed was City Council 14, which is Parrot Sanchez. But we have Borough President, which is Grace Morado, District 9, Tyreek Goodman, 10, we don't have 11, 10 because we don't fall in that district. 11 is James Washington Ward, 12 is Denise Smith, 13 is our Republican endorsed candidate Christy Morado. The 14 we don't have. 15 is Gary Lutz. The 16 is Emmanuel Finley. The 17th is Zenobia, or no, 17th is Marisol, and then the 18th is Zenobia Mendez. So we have a full slate, and I'm happy that we have that this year.
And some of these people are community activists because I know many of those people. The names are not who are they? They're familiar people that are active in the community.
They're active in the community, and I've invested my time to try to build up their platforms. So just to give you a little bit more information, as a party, we've filled our vacancy almost to like 85%. The problem that we have is the county committee level, which is almost going to be impossible because we are a small party. We've increased our numbers by over 30% borough-wide. We have, like I said, we've almost filled all legislative candidates. We've gotten a huge surge in the media. I mean, this is my second time on your show alone. The individuals that are running are community activists that have platforms of their own, but integrating that with not only the politics, but at the community engagement level as well. And the one piece that we're missing right now is the funding. But I've been working with conservatives in Manhattan. So at the moment, we have one conservative in Manhattan that's going to make matching funds, Jason Murillo, who's running for City Council District 2. And why is that important? That's because he is in the most liberal part of the nation, getting matching funds as a conservative Republican. He was setting the bar for the individuals in the Bronx. I'm happy to say that he's one of the 26 candidates that I helped get on the ballot this year.
Okay, I'm going to talk about one of your opposing parties, the Bronx Democratic Party.
Okay.
That's one of my favorite subjects. They endorsed Mondami a couple of days ago.
Imagine a media platform that reshapes the conversation, empowers your voice, and redefines the Bronx community. Bronx Post, changing the reality, changing the narrative. For businesses, politicians, and government agencies, we offer targeted advertising solutions that drive results. Amplify your message. Reach the heart of the Bronx and beyond. Our platform connects you to the community. Learn more. Email info@bronxpost.com or call 718-892-5555. Visit www.bronxpost.com for breaking news and updates. Bronx Post. Changing the reality, changing the narrative.
All right. My producer likes to make the commercial at the 15-minute mark, and unfortunately, this is going to be a long segment, so he didn't want to wait till about the 17 or 18-minute mark. As I said, the Bronx Democrats endorsed Mandami coupled on Tuesday. It included the Bronx Democratic Party leader Jamal Bailey, City Council member Oswald Felice, and a few other assembly members. Now, missing were Vanessa Gibson, the borough president, current borough president, Carl Hasty, the former county leader and assembly speaker, Jeffrey Dinowitz, his son Eric Dinowitz, all big party, and Michael Benedetto was missing, all bigwigs, because Dinowitz is the secretary of the Bronx Democratic Party and Benedetto is the treasurer. What do you make of just having the chair of the party and a couple of assembly members endorsing a mayoral candidate? Do you see that as a sign of weakness in the Bronx Democratic Party, or they just don't care about Mandami?
No, I don't think that's the case. I don't think they don't care. Well, first, just to backtrack a little bit, I know Gibson released a statement saying that she wasn't able to make it, but she endorses him wholeheartedly with the backing of the party, the Democratic Party. Time and time again, I've said this publicly, and I've said this to my leadership. The one thing that I can credit the Democratic Party is, at the very least, they will stand united when the time comes. Do they feel that maybe this is the time? Because you do have Cuomo, they're lingering on the side. So, I know when it comes down to the wire, their united front will come and they will support him wholeheartedly. So I don't see that as an issue, to be honest.
Okay, now Mandami has said, and he's said crazy things. And I was at an event in Little Yemen where Mandami was scheduled to appear. The police were there waiting for him. They spent 2 hours there sitting there just in their police car. And Jamal Bowman, the former congressman, showed up. Now, there's word that Mandami has said he's considering Jamal Bowman, who has been only a principal, as his chancellor of the public schools. Any opinion on that?
Yes. I wasn't privy to the actual meeting, but I know that Jamal Bowman was the lead speaker at the Mandani for Educators. So I can see how he's trying to position himself in that. I would think that, I would see that as a continued integration of the Democratic Socialist Party trying to do what they've been doing, and they've been doing this very successfully over the years. Everybody looks at this Mandami situation as coming out of nowhere. I've been preaching about how bad it's been getting. Nobody wants to listen, but this is an example of how, once again, the Democratic Party is investing in their candidates. Well, specifically right now with the Democratic Socialists of America, investing in their candidates and pushing a long-term agenda. And they just had a break with the Democratic Party. This is what happened similarly with Biden and Harris. They put two very questionable candidates that leaves an opening for somebody out of the left field to come in. The Democrats did it for Trump, and now they're doing it for Mandami.
Congressman Jerry Nadler is retiring, and there's about 3 or 4 people running for him. That's Manhattan. Now, here in the Bronx, we have Michael Benedetto, who's really approaching about 80. I believe he's 78. Jeffrey Dinowitz is trying to hold on to his assembly seat. He's been there since the 1990s for his son, when his son was term limited out in 4 years. Any comments on those two? And should they retire or should they stay on? Any comments about Benedetto and Dinowitz?
Well, nothing specific with them, but I've always been, and this is one of my platforms, on putting term limits on these assemblies so that there's not career politicians. I think at a certain point, we do have to come to a realization that the reason why, for the general population that may not know this, the reason why we keep these individuals in the seats is because the seniority holds a lot of weight when it comes to policymaking and influence and different things like that. But I always look at it, we have elected officials that has been there for decades. And let's say at the less than 5 year mark, you don't see them pushing any bills or any work, and they should have been long gone. But we keep on adding them only because of that cohesion that they're trying to do. So we need to put term limits. Those individuals I know have talked about or on the verge of retirement. To be honest, and I don't mean no disrespect, but I think they should have left a long time ago.
Let's talk about your opponent in the public advocate race, Jumaane Williams. Is he doing a good job or not?
He's doing a job. I think the job could be done better. And I think we need to start putting exceptional people in these positions and not somebody as either a placeholder, a puppet, or just somebody who's waiting for a paycheck.
I'm going to put you on the spot right now like I put Kathy Hochul on the spot many years ago. I was at a Bronx Democratic dinner, and Lieutenant Governor Kathy Hochul was there while Governor Andrew Cuomo was up in an airplane in the storm. And I said to Kathy Hochul, gee, Governor Cuomo is up in a plane in a storm. If that plane should crash, are you prepared to take over as governor of New York? And basically, she went like that. It looked like a deer, in facing headlights. And look at what happened. The public advocate is next in line to be mayor of New York City. Would you be, if elected public advocate, ready to take over as mayor of New York City should something happen? Should, say, Eric Adams be reelected and then taken out by the feds again, or something else happen?
So I'll make this very quick. I've been working my whole life for something like the position of public advocate. My background, the work that I've done, anything that you look at my on me sets the stage for something like that. If I was given the position and had to take on for the mayor, yes, I would be 100% ready. For the public advocate, I would dedicate my whole life, the next 4 years of my life, 365 days, 24/7, no vacations, no nothing until the job was completed, and hopefully the people would love me enough to keep me going. If I had to take the mayor position, I would. And for the people to understand that level, it would be cocky for me to say, oh, I can just do the job automatically. There's a lot of preparation you need in that. But if you don't have that preparation, I do have the leadership, the sensibility of the business aspect of it and the political aspect of it. But what I would make me beneficial to the people is that I would be ready to have my commissioners, my other leadership, my advisors there to assist me in this situation. It wouldn't be just me. It would be a team effort to get this done. And that's what I think is missing in those positions right now.
All right, I'm going to get into some specific issues. For instance, President Trump sent the National Guard into Los Angeles. He's threatening to send them into Chicago and Boston. Do you think the National Guard should be in the big cities right now, the way the crime rate is?
No. Unfortunately, I think I believe in a lot of the tactics that Trump has done. The way he rolls it out is not my preferred method, but these cities have become danger zones. So I understand why he's doing it. And for me, regarding my politics and law and order, I am supporting what he's doing. I just don't like the way and manner that he's conducting it. That's the only problem I have.
Well, no, I say that because Governor Kathy Hochul says you're not going to send National Guard troops into New York, any city in New York, yet she put National Guard troops in the subways. That's why. And he commented.
Yeah, so then what they do, they say that other people shouldn't do, but that's what I'm trying to get at as well. That's why I'm supporting if Trump did it. Now, I want a clean city, and especially what's been going on in the Bronx, and as well. And we've had like multiple shootings every other day. I think in just last weekend was 20. I'm scared of walking out every single day. I want the security and safety that I believe Trump would provide if he took those movements. Once everything is secured, then we talk about pushing it back and then how we can prevent this from happening. The number one thing that we can do is get these elected officials out, put new ones in. Until they believe their job is in jeopardy, nothing's going to change.
Well, it appears that on September 18th, the Council Landmarks Committee is going to be voting on Just Home, Are you familiar with Just Home?
Yes, that's one of the biggest platforms Christy Marmorato is working on.
Right, and they're trying to put current Rikers Island detainees, which 84%, according to the literature handed out by the Health and Hospitals Corporation, 84% of the people detained in Rikers are pre-trial, which means they've committed a crime that they were not eligible for bail. They were not, or I should say, they were not allowed to leave because of the no cash bail law. So it had to be a major crime that they've committed. Yet the Health and Hospitals Corporation wants to bring these people in, and the city. What's your opinion about having criminals in your neighborhood?
Obviously, I made a public statement when this issue came up. I believe that housing should have been, or the proposal should have been more towards veterans or other individuals that need it, and they should have found a location less congested with children, schools, and the hospital itself. It could have been done in different areas than that. And we're in a shortage of housing situations. I think priority should be given to demographics like the veterans.
Well, there is a proposal to put a STEM school in there because there's also a shortage of schools in the area. Would you rather see a school in there?
Yes, I mean that. I believe I believe Grace had mentioned that there's not that many middle schools in that area. That makes more sense than putting that type of facility there.
Okay, I'm going to get you in my last question. The Bally's Casino proposal. Now, the Bronx Democratic Party is the consultants to it. You have Jeff Klein, Stanley Schlein, the lawyer. Then there are 8 other proposals. Do you think that Ferry Point Park, taking 20 acres of parkland, is a good thing to put in a casino, a hotel, and they have to build parking garages on top of a toxic dump?
I think it's a terrible idea, and I supported Christy on her efforts to try to stop it. I'm not against the Democratic machine, or the Democratic Party. I'm against the Democratic machine, and they've already implemented basically crime, prostitution, and now they're trying to go for gambling. We need to stop this madness, and that out of the last thing we need in the Bronx is a casino.
You mentioned prostitution, but it's next coming, and they've legalized cannabis. When I spoke to Senator Gustavo Rivera, he said, I asked him, well, what kind of test do the police do to find out if a person's driving under the influence? Well, we don't have a test right now, he said. They just try and use the test for drunk driving. But, I mean, if a lawyer sees that, all the lawyer's got to do is say that's not the test. How could they tell he was under the influence of cannabis or marijuana, as we say it? And now they find out that they've put about 152 locations, some already existing and others proposed, that are too close to schools. They had a rule that they had to be 500 feet away. They measured from the entrance of the school door. Now they found out from the end of the property line. Any comment on those cannabis stores?
Yes, that's just another embarrassment of what they've been trying to do, is just placating to getting the votes instead of the policies and the things that would help out our community. That's not that hard. There's literally departments dedicated to making sure a lot of those factors don't happen. And for it to be breached, once again, we're only seeing them working hard when they're trying to fix the problems that they started to begin with. So, first, if I was in a position of leadership, the whole cannabis thing, I would have done my best to try to stop it. And that's the type of guy that the people are going to get, somebody who's law and order abiding, patriotic, someone who's against these drugs, crime, prostitution, all these things that are going on in our communities. I want to stop it. And it's going to be hard. It's going to be, we're going to hit brick walls. But in the end of the day, I believe that at the end of my tenure, the city would be better than when I started.
Gonzalo Duran, I want to thank you for coming on the show. I wish you the best of luck. I hope you win on November 4th. And everybody should come out and vote for Gonzalo Duran, candidate for public advocate, on either the Republican line, the conservative line, or an independent line that he has. And I want to thank everybody for watching the show. And I'll see you next week right here on Parrot TV, Talking Politics. Thank you.
Imagine a media platform that reshapes the conversation, empowers your voice, and redefines the Bronx community. Bronx Post, changing the reality, changing the narrative. For businesses, politicians, and government agencies, we offer targeted advertising solutions that drive results. Amplify your message. Reach the heart of the Bronx and beyond. Our platform connects you to the community. Learn more. Email info@bronxpost.com or call 718-892-5555. Visit www.bronxpost.com for breaking news and updates. Bronx Post, changing the reality, changing the narrative.
In a world where the quality of information available to poorer communities is doctored, tainted, and sometimes regressive, where the words fake news have come to mean other people's opinions, it is vital to rely on news platforms with journalists who have feet on the ground and can report.
Keep watching The Politics every Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern Time on New York Parrot TV, the voice for humanity.